Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about a topic that is very important for anyone thinking of moving to Japan. And that is the different visa options available and how they can help you stay in Japan long term. I'm not going to talk about finding a Japanese spouse. And if you are thinking of looking for a spouse just for the sake of obtaining a visa, that is a bit... Okay, anyway, let's focus on the three main visa categories: working, studying, and starting a business. I'm going to talk about the characteristics of each visa and how they can suit your plans. So let's get started. To qualify for a work visa, you will need a job offer from a Japanese company, relevant qualifications, and also employer sponsorship. But do take note that the lack of Japanese language skills can make finding a job very challenging, as many roles require at least conversational Japanese. So even if you achieve a high-level JLPT certification like N1, it's also not a guarantee. You will still need to pass job interviews, which will test your conversational or business level Japanese skills. So for those not fluent in Japanese, one of the most common and accessible job options will be teaching English. Positions as English teachers are in high demand due to the large number of eikaiwa in Japan. These schools are English language schools for the locals, and they do provide visa sponsorship. So that makes it an easier entry point for foreigners moving to Japan. But these eikaiwa, they prioritize native English speakers from countries like the US, UK, Australia, or Canada. So for Singaporeans with our Asian face and our reputation in Singlish, right, we may not be their first choice, but it's still possible. Okay, so another thing that I think is more of a concern, that is the pay for English teaching position at these schools. They are relatively low, maybe around 200,000 yen per month before tax, right? So if you are middle age or supporting a family, this salary will be very challenging to live on. Another popular career path for foreigners will be in the IT sector, which has a strong demand due to the country's growing focus on digital transformation and tech innovation. So there are roles such as software developers, data analysts, cloud engineers, cybersecurity specialists. All of these roles are highly sought after. The IT industry is very appealing to non-Japanese speakers because many positions, especially in MNCs with international teams, they prioritize technical expertise over language proficiency. So for example, programming, coding, system management, they use universal languages and tools, making Japanese language skills secondary in many cases. The second visa I will talk about is the student visa. So if you're considering studying in Japan, there are two primary options. One is to attend their Japanese university. The other one is Japanese language school. For universities, it is important to research programs that align with your academic background and career aspirations. So you should have a degree from your home country in Singapore and look for master's or PhD programs in Japan. Some universities, they offer courses in English, but those are usually at the graduate level, so that will be viable, okay, if your Japanese is limited. For undergraduate programs, degree programs taught in English are much less common. On the other hand, enrolling in Japanese language school is more practical and straightforward choice, especially if you are looking to live and work in Japan long term. Language schools, they are designed to help you build a strong foundation in Japanese, which, as I mentioned earlier, is important for working in Japanese companies. So completing a language program not only will improve your communication skills, it also gives you the chance to experience life in Japan before committing in a long-term stay, because a Japanese program is typically 1 to 2 years. So with a student visa, you are allowed to work part-time for up to 28 hours per week. So that can help in some financial support while gaining experience, real life experience. Many language school programs are also half days, so you will be able to attend class in the morning and work part-time in the afternoon. So a student visa can serve as a stepping stone to secure employment in Japan. Many students transition to a work visa after graduation, using the skills and connections they have built during their time in school. But having said that, student visas are more suitable for younger adults, such as those fresh graduate, university graduates, or those under 30 years old. Of course, if you are above 30 years old, some language schools will still accept you, but you will just feel very awkward sitting in a class with all the students who are below 30 years old. So for individuals, for people in their late 30s or 40s, student visa will not be the most practical option. And also, student visas do not allow you to bring dependents. So if you have a spouse or children, this option will not be suitable. And the last visa, which has gained popularity in recent years, is the business manager visa. This visa is suitable for people like me, people in their 40s, who may not have very strong Japanese language skills to work in Japan. So this business manager visa is designed for people who want to start or manage a business in Japan. From the perspective of the Japanese government, this is highly welcome because it brings capital into the country and it can contribute to job creation. To qualify for this visa, I will highlight a few main points. I plan to create a detailed video about this visa in the future because there's so much information to cover. So for now, I'll just give a quick overview. First, you will need a solid business plan that can clearly explain what kind of business you intend to establish in Japan. The business, it must be sustainable, and contribute to Japan's economy and also able to support yourself as an employee. So you need to also demonstrate relevant experience or expertise in the field you're entering. So for example, if you never work in the F&B industry and in your business plan you say you want to open a ramen restaurant, this will not be very convincing. Okay, so secondly, you also need to rent an office space, a physical office space. You cannot use a satellite or virtual office. So renting a proper office space is a mandatory condition. And lastly is the capital investment. You will need to have a capital investment of at least 5 million yen. And as you can see, this amount is not large. It's also not paid to the government. You just need to prove that you have this sum available in your bank account and you can use it for your business purposes. Alternatively, you can also employ 2 full-time Japanese employees. Comparing these two, most applicants will definitely opt for the 5 million yen in a bank account than hiring staff. If you're considering retiring in Japan without working or running a business and simply just want to rely on your passive income from Singapore or your investment, unfortunately, Japan doesn't offer such a visa. Unlike countries with retirement or migration-friendly policies, Japan is definitely not a migration country. So that is why it's still a highly homogeneous society with most of the residents being Japanese nationals. So for those without a long-term visa, visit Japan as a tourist is your only option, and For Singaporeans, we can stay up to 90 days per visit and a total of 180 days per year. However, this cannot be extended for a long-term residency. So to wrap up, if you're serious about relocating to Japan, planning carefully is very crucial. Language is a significant barrier, so you will need to hire an immigration lawyer or agent to assist you with all the paperwork. And it's also important to plan your finances carefully if you're considering, especially if you're considering the business manager visa. So I will definitely share more about my own plans in this business manager visa, like what I intend to do in Japan, how am I going to plan my finances, and all the other key considerations. So that's it for today's video on the different visa options for moving to Japan. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insights into our journey. I will see you next time.